Welcome back to the GSL Up and Downs. A day of many lasts. You see that trophy as well. I guess it's a trophy. Oh, actually, PlayXP gave this to GOMTV because it's their final. This is the final chapter.
It's actually really cool. I'm a little bit sad. I said this earlier already. I feel very nostalgic coming into this day and realizing, okay, it's not only my first day of Wings of Liberty, it's at the same time also my first day here at the Mukdong studio.
You mean last?
Yeah.
I'm like, no wonder it took you a while to realize that because it's completely false. It's like the opposite way. But yeah, this is actually, it feels weird to me. I haven't accepted it yet. Like, in my mind, when we go to Gangnam, we're going to walk into a room that looks exactly like this and sit down in these same chairs, and behind us it's going to look the same, but it's probably not going to be that way.
I want to have a little bit of a nicer area where we can actually change.
What do you mean?
Our changing room. It's so cold in the winter. I don't like that.
It is cold.
No.
I didn't know if that's what you meant. I was like, change like our scenery or like...
No.
Okay.
Just where we change. Like,
yeah, it is a bit cold in the winter. It's a little bit hot in the summer as well, actually.
Byun is actually a little bit bored here, apparently. Wow, look at that. He should be careful. Flying has been killing nerds today. He's 2-0 already in the group. And if Byun isn't careful, then he's going to be the third victim. That's not what you want. Whirlwind is going to be the map, and we are heading into the match here, the GSL Up and Down Group E right now. Flying versus Byun, brought to you by Colorful. To the bottom right, we have our Protoss player who is 2-0 in this group, didn't lose a single game just yet. He is
Wongjin Stars Fly.
Flying took out Flash and Fantasy just recently. He's up against another Terran player today, though. He is up against a Prime player. To the top left, cross-positioned, we have
Byun Prime.
Byun, once a round of 4-player of the GSL, so close to being in the finals. He's never actually been able to taste it, though. He wants to get right back into Code S. Farewell, Wings of Liberty. Happy New Year!
It's a new start. That's definitely true.
I don't know if you... at first I thought you might be trying to make a joke about the thing that happened last night when we came midnight.
Yeah, that was really funny when they showed the clock and suddenly we had a new day coming up at the GSL with our double tiebreaker. If you didn't watch those games yesterday, make sure that you check them out, especially the match between Boong Boong and Noblesse on a kill on flats is definitely noteworthy. This was one of the best Terran versus Zergs that I have seen in weeks or months. It was really great. It was a fantastic game. Definitely check it out.
You know, it was quite unique what the players did.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it, I'm actually not kidding. Go and yeah, look up the VOD right now. Go to GOMTV.net. A kill on flats, the game between Boong Boong and Noblesse. Great match.
Noblesse earned a special place in my heart after that up and down group.
Yeah. I was really sad when he wasn't able to get out there.
Yeah,
he played really well
too. I was really... you know, it was disappointing for like a perspective of what he had achieved already.
It just felt wrong.
Yeah.
I have no other words for it. I mean, there is no explanation for it. All the players started with the same in the same situation, and in the end, it turned out that the Zergs were just the better players yesterday. But it felt wrong.
It was definitely a unique situation. If you haven't been filled in on it, go watch the VODs. What we have here is really weird because both players go for their respective town halls first. We have CC first versus Nexus first, but double gateway for Flying, so he's going to be able to put on a lot of stalker pressure with his 2 gates against this. So he's almost expecting to command there first. This can do a ton of damage. It can, if your opponent makes a late bunker, actually cost him the entire game.
You know, every single time when I see Flying play, I like his style a little bit more. When I saw the first games that he played, I wasn't really too much of a fan. He looked not strong at all, and actually his builds looked a little bit weird. But now every single time that when he's in the booth here and playing, I feel that he's a bit more refined, he's a bit stronger. And I love that he's such an aggressive player, that he always wants to be the one who just coins the game,
yeah.
who
he
forces
his own hands.
Exactly, he forces his opponent to play his style. This is something that Stefano said, why he is not watching VODs of his opponents, why he's not trying to prepare for their strategies. He always wants to be the one player who his opponent has to react to. He wants to be the one who dictates the pace of the game, and then he lets his opponent react to what he does. That's what he tries to do, and I feel Flying is very much the same in that regard.
Flying could have done a ton of damage with his 2 Stalker pressure, but he canceled his second Stalker and started a Sentry. And now Byun, he wasn't a scary situation because he didn't have his bunker up very quickly, but now he should be totally fine. And Flying goes into robotics now.
Do you feel Flying did that because he realized that his opponent was scouting cross position and
yes,
not close?
I think that's exactly why. As soon as he saw he was cross, he was like, eh. As you can see now, the Stalker, he stopped walking across the map, but the bunker finishes right now, and this is about the time that he would have arrived.
Yeah. Second bunker is now even being built for Byun, not taking any chances. That's actually pretty cool to see that Flying is building a pylon here.
He's faking it. He wants Byun to see this. He wants Byun to make even more bunkers. And so far, he has forced 2 additional ones.
I love the mind games that we have seen in this up and down group, and especially Flying seems to be preparing very well for these things.
He's really faking it.
Yeah, he's faking it very much, not only one bunker but also the second door, sorry, the pylon.
Byun knows that if this were real, there would be units here right now. But he's got to be aware of the second pylon. It's going to be cancelled.
And even if it's going to be cancelled, you don't really know what's going on. There might actually be a pylon on the high ground at the third base now. You're not quite sure. You expect, okay, probably you're not going to go for it, but I can't be sure here.
Yeah. You know, this is not bad for Byun. It's just, he can't use the minerals now. Because of the bunkers, he can't get most of the minerals back. And if you think about 1 pylon for 1 bunker, it's... Actually, the bunker gets the better trade in the long run, but
well,
it hurts Byun while he's trying to power up his production facilities now.
It's not only that. Byun also, for a short time, he stopped to produce harvesters because he thought he has to focus on his units. So right now, with all the chrono boosts that Flying has been using for his own Nexus, he has a significant lead in the harvester count. He was actually 10 harvesters ahead at some point. The only reason why now slowly but steadily the Terran player is able to catch up a bit is that he's already on 3 command centers and can produce 3 SCVs at a time.
Yeah.
But the entire fake out was a very, very smart thing to do.
Flying is going double upgrades creator style here with the robotics warbay now finished. He will probably take a third base as he comes in here and sees the power-up of Byun is a little bit late. He also sees that the starport is very late, so he knows that he's not going to be facing drops right away. And then if he spreads himself just a little bit thin here for a short period of time, it's going to be worth it for him in the long run. He sends the probe over now. We'll start the Nexus. There it is.
Yeah. Nexus has been started, and the robotics bay is nearly completed, so he can really go also into Colossi now, start with the extended thermal lance, go for a bit of a timing here. We still have him with an observer that he's not shy to show to his opponent, and that is a bit of a mistake since Byun is known to scan and take down observers. This is what happened already. 1 is down, but still Flying has a few more on the map.
Yep, he has a second one, in fact, that spots the third command center moving down. So he's very aware of exactly where that third is being placed.
In total, he has 3 observers that are still available, and you need a decent amount of them on a big map like Welwyn. You always want to have a few stationaries, and then just make sure that you have at least 1 that moves around.
What's cool about Flying's situation now is that even though his third base is slightly delayed, he knows that Byun's SCVs are going to take a little while to get over there, and he has the much better tech. He has Colossi coming out, he has the Twilight Council finishing up perfectly with his 2-2, he can chrono boost those upgrades. Byun, on the other hand, only has +1 finishing up here. His army finishes so he can get additional upgrades, but he's 1 set behind when it comes to armor.
Makes it a little bit more difficult for him to catch up with the upgrades that Flying now has. Well, at least if he starts the +2/+2 now that his Twilight Council is done. He's losing a bit of time here, but now heads into not only armor but also attack. And timing with 2-2 can be very, very dangerous. He can also just try to prolong this a little bit on his 3 bases and then go later on in an attack with 3-3. If he goes really for a very timed out attack with an upgrade lead, that can do so much. We've seen Creator win games with this like easily.
Yeah. It can be very deadly. He's even going to send some Zealot Harassment in here. And this is basically going to almost make up for the extra time this orbital's been landed. And nice micro there by Byun. Almost saves the Marine. If he had done it, I would have been really impressed.
Yeah, but the rest of the army now comes in and of course takes down all those Zealots. No surprise about that. Ghost Academy actually being built by Byun here.
He expects the fake out, but what's ironic about this is that this time it's real. He is going to make Colossi repeatedly and even gets range.
Here come the Vikings now, so he's actually going for a catch-all build that allows him to deal with High Templars and with Colossi. I feel that we will see a few additional scans before he really heavily commits into either one.
Yeah. He's going to just, like you said, do a catch-all. Charge is on the way. No Templar Archives, though. You know, going into this mid-game, Byun has the stronger army when it comes to numbers, but flying, getting these upgrades out is somebody that Byun doesn't want to attack into necessarily. He's considering it, but rather what he wants to do is add a second starport and be 100% safe. He's going to be able to make 4 Vikings at once if he wants to. If there's not Colossi, he's going to make more medevacs. He has Ghosts coming out. He's very careful with what he's doing here.
With the third base, he has the resources to pull all this off, and I feel that we are going to see the Templar Archive just being built for flying. This is just one of those games, especially on a map like Whirlwind with the cross position, where we are heading into a really late game.
Charge not done here, so he will only get, it looks like, a few of these Marines, but with no medevacs. Ends up doing okay with +2 armor there. It was actually a fairly even trade. Byun is trying to figure out how to pressure. He wants to do this safely and correctly. He's not going to fight unless he finds an opening. If he thinks he's going to... He's not going to do one of those engagements where he tries to force the fight. That's not something he can do right now.
Yeah, this is going to end up in a situation where we probably have a big fight with Ghosts and then High Templars, at least if the game continues over this initial state with Viking versus Colossi.
Uh-oh, Byun's army is trapped here.
That was a premature stimmer on half of his units. This was a little bit awkward.
I think he wanted to run away. He wasn't sure which way to go. That's why it looked a little bit awkward, but if he had been found, then that would have been terrible.
He's moving in from 2 sides. We're going to see a bit of a base race here. 2 armies for Byun heading to the natural and the third base of flying, whereas the Protoss player just now arrived at his opponent's doorstep.
Oh, this is going to be really hard for flying to win with the bunkers here. He's also got so many Vikings to deal with the Colossi.
The bunkers are already gone and most of the Marines are dying, but those Colossi, they don't stand a chance, and the entire bioforce of Byun is now at the bottom right, taking out the third and continuing to the third base.
Byun is sending some of his army back.
The natural, of course.
Some of his army is coming home to defend. He has a lot of production in his main base. He's going to try to hold on here.
The problem really is for flying that he suddenly lost 2 of his bases, only mining from 1, whereas we still have the third for Byun, and he's trying to hold his ramp.
He has the high ground here. The Colossus trying to avoid that Viking fire, and so far so good. The units from the back actually eat that Colossus fire, and flying is looking stronger and stronger. He's starting to eat away at the production.
Yeah, flying is the one who still has the supply lead here in this game, and he's taking out not only a lot of the Marines, but he's killing most of the medivacs, and they are really important for Byun. He needs to save them.
Flying does not send his zealots in to fight, though. He sends them to the third base, and I think this might be a mistake.
Well, flying still has a little bit of mining going on in his own main base, and he's still far ahead in the supply count. If you look at it, he's 40 supply ahead. His army supply alone is at 63 against 30.
Yeah,
I think he has just done it.
He has enough production on his gateways. Byun does not.
His upgrades were much better in the last fight. Byun is now just able to get +2 armor, and flying is already on his way to +3/3, which we will never see in the game as flying takes his 3rd victory.
Yeah, 3-0.
Wow.
Byun.
Flying is in Code S. Flying just got his ticket to Code S.
Byun had all of his production facilities camped. The units he was making were dying, and the units that Flying were making was, I keep saying this, totally bonkers here, but he has the units warped in to continue an attack. Byun turns around with his army. He makes a tough choice. He says, alright, I'm going to try to kill your whole army, then I'll have the momentum because I already killed your next guy. But turning around allowed Flying to get a few more warp ins, and then it was too much.
Yeah. Flying now is in Code S. He already has his ticket after only 3 games won. He is advancing. And, well, congratulations. I did not expect him to take the 1st place in the group, but he played really, really well today. And with a performance like this, the kid is just getting better every time we see him. So that was really cool, and I can't wait to see him participate in Code S. Yep. Another Protoss player makes it. Protoss players all around the world will be very happy about that. He still might have to play his other games. We'll find out how the rest of the group goes, but we already know he is going to be one of the contenders in the next Code S season in Heart of the Swarm.
Exactly. We'll see how the rest of the group ends up going through, but it was ironic because we had one Protoss player already now given the spot into Code S, so it turns out of this group, quote-unquote, 2 Protoss players already advancing, so that increases our Protoss player count to 7 now.
And we are heading into a match now that doesn't feature a Protoss player. We have now Sniper versus Byun. and Sniper really, really needs a win here. If Byun takes this, then Sniper doesn't have a chance to advance to Korea today anymore. On the other hand, we also have Su in a situation where he really needs, Byung to win this game. Because if Sniper to win the game. If Byung wins the game, it means that Sniper and Su don't have a chance anymore to advance to Korea today. Then it comes down to the match between Flying and Byun and Su.
Yep. Well, Neoplanet S is the map, a bigger, larger map. In my personal opinion, a tough map for Zerg. We'll see how Byung does. He broke his losing streak versus Zerg. Can he start a winning streak? Let's find out right now here at the GSL Up and Downs. How long?